scientists! I've got something a little scary to tell you. I really hope that you and I are both here at the end of today's lab session, because today we're going to be talking about something called extinction, or animal extinction as it's normally known, is when a species completely disappears from the planet, never to be seen again except in pictures and photographs. And unfortunately, this can happen due to things like killing the homes of animals, climatic change, hunting them too much, and other activities that you and I and other people could be responsible for. It's really sad to think about just how many species have vanished because humans are turning their homes and their farmland and their cities into environments that will pollute an animal's household. That's the bad news. The good news is that you and I and other humans can also do something about it. Scientists are telling us that while the rate of extinction is caused by humans can be much, much higher than it's considered normal, it's also a strong possibility that humans can reverse a lot of the changes of animal extinction. Now, one reason animals are going so extinct is that there are more people on the planet now. That means more and more damage. As the world's population is expected to reach about 10 billion people by the middle of this century, habitat loss of animals is becoming the biggest threat to many species. So today, we're going to learn why that happens and how we can all do our part to preserve the incredible diversity of life that we call home here on Earth. Have you heard about pollution? Pollution is causing some pretty serious problems for our planet. It's actually doing things like heating up parts of our planet, which can do a lot of damage to the animals that live in those parts. Animals are having to adapt, but unlike you and I, who can do things like travel and move and use very complicated tools to make our lives easier, not all animals can do those sorts of things. And scientists are pretty worried about how all of these changes could really impact a lot of animals. For example, there was a study about 10 years ago that found that if things get too hot in some parts of our planet, that over 5%, or 1 out of every 20 kinds of animals, could completely disappear. And that number can get up to 16%, or 1 out of about every 6 animals, if the temperature gets even hotter in other parts of the world. The biggest parts of the world that this is going to affect life is probably our oceans. So, mad scientists, how does then that animal extinction work? The more and more and more damage that's done, the greater the damage is done to animal habitats. Let's demonstrate that. So I've got here some materials called candles. We're going to pretend that these candles are different species of animals. So right here, I've got some kinkajou, and up here, I've got some different kinds of tropical birds that are in Northwest Asia. Right here in the center, I've got some bison, and all the way down here in Australia, I have got some lovely, lovely creatures like koalas. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna light all of these candles. All right, mad scientists, all of our candles are lit, but it looks like some of them are already endangered. That means their lights are starting to flicker out. Now I'm gonna use my air to explain how different kinds of harm that's being done to the habitats of animal homes can really do a lot of damage. It looks like I've still got about 2 kinds of species that are gonna be okay, mad scientists, but if I have all of this, all of the species are now going to be completely eliminated. So you can see how even changing the amount of damage that we do to our world through things like pollution and overhunting can make a big difference in the amount of or number of species that continue to survive. And it's not just pollution that's causing issues. You know, people are actually hunting and collecting things from nature, and that can also be a problem. Here, let's take a look at this picture, mad scientists. It is a white rhino. And there are many of these creatures that are hunted even on nature preserves that are designed to protect them just for their horns, mad scientists. So if they're hunted too much, there won't be enough of them to make new families and new generations of white rhinos. It doesn't just go for creatures on land, mad scientists. Millions of tropical fish and corals are taken from the wild for pets or to trade every single year, and it's really hurting not only the populations of those tropical fish, but of the much bigger fish like whales that rely on those small tropical fish as part of their diet. But hey, on a more positive note, there are some really awesome stories about that too. Like, there was this one time that this mama ape and her baby were actually rescued by hunters hired by palm tree oil companies. So it's moments like that that really give us hope that we can do a lot to reverse all of the changes of animal extinction. But unfortunately, more and more animals are becoming endangered. But did you know that 1/4 of all the mammals on the earth are now endangered? The greatest change from endangered to non-endangered species occurred between the years 2010 all the way back to 1970. So within the lifetime of our parents and our grandparents is when we really started to have to worry about all of these changes. I tell you what, we are going to honor one of these not endangered but extinct species by recreating what they looked like right here in the lab. Something that you can even wear and share at your home lab. Are you ready? Let's go. You know, I'll bet if you ask someone that lives in your home lab what the endangered or extinct species that they remember the most, it's probably a type of bird that became extinct well over 100 years ago called the dodo. Today here in the lab, we are going to try to honor that extinct bird and remind us of how much we need to take care of endangered species by creating a dodo mask. Now, if you want to follow along with me, mad scientists, there's a few things you're going to need. You're going to need a white mask like this. The next thing you're going to need are some markers, colored pencils, or crayons. I've got a bag full of these feathers. You're also going to need some glue. So I'm going to grab, mad scientists, some colors that I think a dodo might have in its feathers. I am just going to color, and you can color yours any way that you want. There we go, mad scientists. Now remember, we're not done yet. I'm going to continue by opening up my craft glue, picking off the top, and just putting a squirt of glue right here at the sides of the mask. And that way I can lay down half of my feathers on this side and half on the other side. All right, mad scientists, check that out. And whenever it dries, I've got this string that I'm going to ask my mom to help me with because sometimes I have trouble tying knots. I hope I look really good, but I hope I don't look too good because I would hate to be turned into somebody's hat. Hey!